On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, those boys have finally learned what to do with their dick Lucifer. To the Winchesters out there getting possessed, to stop the apocalypse, just follow these steps. Step 1.
Find out there's a box.
Step 2.
Get the rings for that box.
Step 3.
Sam jumps in the box.
And that's the way you do it.
Dick in a box. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz, doing some finger guns.
Pew pew. And we are on season 5, episode 22, Swan Song. It is our season 5 season finale.
It is. We have made it all the way through to the end of season 5. Wow. So exciting.
Crazy.
There's still so many more seasons to go.
There are, which is exciting.
Oh, so exciting. So this is our season finale episode. Mm-hmm. So as I will say, as always, or as is tradition. It's what's tradition now because we did it last time. So now we're doing it again. So now it's tradition. Right. So at the end of this episode, we will have the season 5 trivia. So stay tuned for that. We'll grill Diana on how much she remembers from the past 22 episodes in great detail.
And Liz told me to study.
Did
I study?
What did you do instead?
I drank.
You drank.
Yes. And ate good food.
You know, like you do.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time I put off studying in my life.
So what have you been doing besides eating and drinking?
So, you know, we celebrated New Year's. We are in 2023 now, folks. And so, just had some time with the family and had a pretty chill night at home for New Year's Eve, along with, people with large amounts of ammo that they were shooting off into the sky in my neighborhood. It was, it went from being like, I mean, it's not funny, but like at some point you're just like, oh, what do you do? And then it got to the, oh, this is not comfortable, I'm going inside now kind of scenario. And then didn't feel like crap on New Year's Day. So we got up and went to a car show with friends, which was super fun. Way to spend the daytime and drank some beers at a car show at the Hella Shrine. And then, that's about it. We're just getting back to work and things like that. I know I'll share that I haven't, one of my old doggies. I've shared pictures and stuff with y'all before, but Ash is hitting his end days and is struggling along, and we'll probably be saying farewell to him very soon. So that's my sad news of the day. But
well, thank you for sharing that. I'm sure everybody knows what it's like to go through such a horrible loss, and it sucks. So we all have hugs to Ash and to you.
Thank you. But how about yourself?
I was going to say, now Dick is out of that depression hole.
So it is, but you know, we have, I'm like, so on that note, how are you? No, but it, you know, I won't go down the rabbit hole on it. We're just moving along and gonna work on Duchess this weekend and fun stuff like that.
Vroom,
so
vroom.
Vroom vroom. How about yourself? What have you been up to?
I took the Liz staycation where I did not leave my house for many days and just spent time editing and finishing a project that I've been working on for what seems like forever. And I guess technically it was forever because it was a compilation of all the bands I saw in 2022, which was a lot of fun to put together. And I got to, learn some new things, learn how to do some more voiceover stuff, which was, exciting. And, so I spent, I am the nerd, whereas I told Diana to study and she went out drinking. I spent my New Year's holiday from work studying and learning.
I mean, I didn't drink that much this year, to be fair.
I was
able
also getting wasted while I was doing it, but I mean, I wasn't getting wasted, but I did drink a lot of cider, and then I did not feel great like that night, and it wasn't that I was like hungover. It was just, oh, my tummy didn't like all the cider, and so I got woken up by that, which is just like, it just sucks. It's why we don't drink that much anymore, because it's not fun to be like woken up with your gut in the middle of the night being like, what the fuck are you doing, you middle-aged woman? Stop drinking so much. So
yeah,
thanks, gut.
dumb. We were laughing at the
Stupid
car show.
microbiome.
So the car show started at like 8 a.m. and our whole club was like, let's meet at 10. And so I was joking. I'm like, we're all old enough that we can get to a car show in the morning on New Year's Day, but not old enough to get there at 8 a.m. Like there's like this perfect like in between. I'm like, no, we can still get there in the morning, but we ain't getting there at fucking 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, that's a good decision.
So, well, we're going to talk about Swan Song. It's a pretty traumatic episode.
Swan Song. Yeah, so this is season 5, episode 22. I don't know why I'm very like cautious about that
Like
number.
it's
very obvious. It's definitely episode 22. This first aired on May 13th, 2010. I think I was getting distracted because I was going to say, oh, hey, this is directed by Steve Boyum. And the thing that's really important about this episode, besides the fact that it's, the finale for season 5 and holy shit, all the stuff that happens in it. Yeah. This was also Kripke's last show as showrunner. And he steps down at this point, and because he basically ended his story with here, right? Wow. And so coming after him will be Sarah Gamble, who we've been seeing, right for the past, few seasons, and she'll take over as the showrunner for the next 2 years. And he was very positive about moving on. It was nothing negative. So I think there is just a lot of, it's just, you could tell, like, it's just a lot of emotions and finales and just things that were in this episode. So.
Yeah, so we get our a little bit of Kansas in our recap going into this episode, as we do at the end of the season recaps, and then we open with some footage from a GM plant of a Caprice being manufactured in 1967.
And it's this great industrial film
So cool.
footage.
Yes.
I love it. It's so like saturated and it's so gorgeous. I was like, oh, I loved those, like, made for GM. Like, and the people who made those movies or those things are always cool. Anyways, sorry.
No, it was awesome. It was really neat. And we've got Chuck narrating. So this is interesting. We know we've got Chuck. I mean, we had Chuck a little bit in the last episode, but now we're going to have Chuck for real, like it looks like. Because he's narrating and talking about how 3 days after this Caprice was manufactured with all this fanfare, the Impala was made. Baby came off the assembly line.
And oddly enough, that makes it roll off on April 24th, which is Eric Kripke's birthday.
That's funny. I didn't know that. That's good.
Funny how that happened.
And Chuck's writing and talking about the Impala as it could be the most important object in history, which is okay. Now your interest is piqued. As everybody knows, we are fans of Baby. We love the Impala. But that's probably taking it a step further than we would have just as a regular viewer at this point in time, in my opinion. So, he talks a little bit about the previous owner, who was Sal Moriarty. I can't even say it. Who purchased the car off the from there, and he was an alcoholic and.
Yeah, and it's Sal Moriarty. So another nerd reference. So. That's a reference to the two main characters and On the Road, Sal Paradise and Dean Moriarty.
Oh,
so bringing that Kerouac theme back into here. So a lot of these references we'll see like kind of popping up through here.
All right. I missed that one. Dang. And basically he was an alcoholic, but he was also like a proselytizer. So he kind of like was trying to go to preach at people, but yeah. So Chuck's comment was the brothers probably would have been amused by this.
Yeah, so
But
basically he drove around in the Impala with Bibles trying to save people and warning them about the end days.
yes.
And that's
Yeah.
not ironic at all. No.
Not at all. Not at all. And then, by good fortune and a recommendation of a friend, wink, wink, John Winchester purchases the Impala, and our story begins. Ooh. It was a really fucking cool intro. Not gonna lie, I was stoked about this intro. Very happy about it.
It's very nice. It was very nicely done. And go ahead.
It was a nice departure, I think, to kind of have like a little, because it grabbed your attention right away because you're like, wait, what's happening? This is totally not what I expect right now. But at the same time, it was still so tied into the story. You weren't like, what the fuck is happening? It was a nice balance. My take. That's my hot take on it. So.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So we cut from there to Sam drinking a beer on the hood of Baby. And seriously, this is where I'm telling you, they're drinking problems, man. Like, they're just drinking all the time now. All the time.
Here's my other problem is there was literally an episode of Judge Judy the other day about how you shouldn't sit on people's car hoods. And these guys do this all the time to their car. It's very distressing. Anyways.
Why was it on Judge Judy?
Because somebody was suing somebody for sitting on their fucking car hood and denting the shit out of it.
Well, yeah, but Baby's hood, like, you won't dent Baby. She's made of tougher shit than that. That was probably some crappy, like, Kia or something. Anyways. So Dean tells Sam that he is up with Satan.
Yeah. And that, but yeah, if Sam wants to do the plan, then fine. Dean's okay with it. But he's not letting him do it, but I'll back him because he's a grown-up. Goes against, Dean's instincts, but he's always been watching out for Sam, and that's part of his identity now is to watch out for Sam, but Sam's not a kid anymore. And so Dean needs to grow up too, and if anybody can do it, it's you. Holy shit, did Dean just say something positive to his brother about his brother being able to do something?
Yeah, it's pretty touching. It was a very nice speech.
It was.
And then we go from something that was very nice to something that's a little distressful.
Yeah, they're draining demons for their blood. So we got milk jugs full of demon blood.
Yikes!
And of course, at an industrial site because we couldn't go without one. We'd have one abandoned industrial site at least. Yeah. So Bobby's waiting outside, and Dean makes a crack about him being eye level now. I was like, oh, that's freaking harsh. Damn. But anyways, they just drained all these demons. So it's all the go juice that Sam can drink. Ugh.
This also just seems like a very weird thing. And, we'll kind of get to it later too, but that's just a lot of things to be consuming. I don't think you should be transporting them in milk jugs, whatever. But Bobby is like, basically, he's like, okay, whatever. Like, you've done that. I've got some omens here. Let's start going through them. He just starts flipping through basically his news of the weird.
Yeah. And what stands out to Dean? Fucking Detroit. Of course. And as we all should remember, Detroit is, I guess, I don't know, prophesize the right word? I don't know. Detroit's supposed to be where Sam says yes. So it kind of checks out, but also is concerning.
It always had to be Detroit. Mm-hmm. So also, I think it's like, so it's Detroit, like, is it a car thing? I don't know. But so the devil's in Detroit, and they cut to show a very anxious Sam. He is just jumping out of his skin.
Yeah. And so we've got Sam, Dean, and Castiel in the car. Castiel's pretending to sleep in the back, but
no, he's sleeping. Sam points out that angels don't sleep when he says that, but that's because Cass has become so human that he's sleeping. Angel-y. He's not an angel anymore. He's just a person at this point.
Right, because he's lost so much. Okay. Well, Dean's telling Sam, like, look, I got a bad feeling because this shit's in Detroit, which is, I mean, we can make Detroit jokes, but I know a lot of people that really like Detroit, so I'm not going to sit and do that right now. But that's what all of the signs have pointed to for so long. And so is it some kind of a trap? And, just worried about it in general. Plus, he was never really like into this plan anyways. He's just going along with it. And Sam's like, look, if things go our way, I'm not coming back. And he asks Dean to promise not to try to get him back.
Yep, he wants him to go find Lisa and have a normal apple pie, boring life.
Yeah. But Dean's like, your hell is going to look more like Graceland. You can't ask this of me, but
no, like, your hell is going to make my hell look like Graceland.
Oh, yeah, your hell is going to make my hell look like Graceland. Sorry. But yeah. So, because Dean's been there, he knows what to expect, and he's never really shared what his experience was there. Right. And you kind of wonder at this point, is it better or worse that he hasn't shared that with Sam, since Sam's going to go face hell?
I think he shared some of it with Sam, like when he was going through it. So I think he has an idea, and especially about like, and I think Sam like has fucked enough demons by now that he should know what it's like. You know, I think he is well aware of what he's getting into.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Well, we've got Bobby's scouting demons in Detroit. And we get our little, in an alley, we get Sam and Bobby kind of doing an awkward hug farewell. It was really sad and sweet, but awkward. And it's like a hug and a little pep talk. And then Bobby's too teary-eyed. He has to turn around.
Yeah. And Sam is very puppy dog throughout most of this. And then he offers Cass a handshake. I'm like, what are you? That's just weird. Yeah. And then he asks Dean to not watch him chug his gallons of blood, which I think this just seems physically impossible to do. Like,
that is so much fluid. You cannot.
Well, you can't you can't chug that like in water, and you certainly like milk. Like that makes like people who do like those milk challenges, and it makes them like really really sick. Like, and how are they keeping this blood from not coagulating? Like, is this like chunky
demon
blood?
Remember, it's not real blood.
But is human blood out of there? So does the demon blood not coagulate? Do we not know that? Is it not going to be like you're having one of those tapioca ball like drinks where you're just like slurping it with a straw and then just like
like bobas and like
this little boba
blood
tea. Blood boba tea. Like that is what I think this is probably like.
Gross. Now it's chunky. Thanks for that.
Well, it's also warm. Like it's been in the trunk. Like they didn't put it in an ice chest or anything. They have the beer in the ice chest. He was
drinking it straight out of the arm. I'm sure it was warm then too.
It's a different kind of warm in your trunk. I don't know.
Not exhaust flavored warm trunk demon blood.
I just don't know how he's not vomiting everywhere, but instead, like
he's vomiting blood. Because if you've ever known anybody who's like accidentally swallowed a large amount of blood, like it's not like your body doesn't process that well.
Who do you know who swallow blood?
Well, not intentionally. Like I knew someone that had their tonsils. My sister, she had her tonsils out. Anyways, it was a whole thing. As an adult, it was a whole thing, and the stitch blew, and she saw how much blood. She yacked blood everywhere. It's a whole story. Anyways, yeah, because your body doesn't. You don't want to. Your body doesn't like it.
Oh God, I've been so close to vomiting like for ever since I started talking to you. Oh my God, what is wrong with you? Okay, so
I didn't do anything. I'm just sharing a true story.
I was bad.
All right.
Jesus. All right.
Don't throw up. But anyway, but no, I think it's physically impossible to drink that much of any fluid.
Yeah,
any fluid. It's not that it's the demon blood. It's not that it's been in a warm trunk. It's not that it's got chunks in it now. It's just that your body literally cannot consume that much liquid.
Yeah, and like so. Yeah, I do feel kind of sad that we got deprived of the scene of him chugging it too, right? And I'm sure
like give us like at least a shot
at least,
of
like,
one.
Give me,
Come
like,
on,
like him like standing like with the blood just like coming like with the milk jug, just like blood dripping out of it and just like coming down his face. Like, come on, give me that.
And he barely didn't even have barely a drip on his face.
He didn't have any like fruit punch mouth. Like no. What? Like he got all good at this now? Like what the fuck? All of a sudden he learned how to like. What, did you put a straw in there? Do you just like make it like a Franzia box and just like put like a little straw on the side and just
And I'm like, I don't know if anything I could like, especially we've already discussed how hard it would be to drink that much fluid at all, but that much liquid and not like from a jug and not drip anything. Like, no, I don't buy it. That was too fake.
Okay. All right. So
All right.
instead, what he does is like he basically is just chest beating testosterone. Come at me, Satan.
Yeah. Come at me. Yeah. He's ready and calls them sons of bitches. And so the demons let him inside.
And also, why are the demons dressed like feds?
But they have been a few times lately, like when they were all the ones that were serving the
yeah,
horsemen.
like did somebody put together, like someone in hell was like, all right, we need to have a wardrobe discussion about what is appropriate for your outings, demons. This is a uniform. You will be wearing this black skinny tie, black suit, white press shirt. That's just it. That's what you wear now.
Yeah, that's what you wear now. Somebody watched Men in Black finally and decided that they were agents.
Or Reservoir Dogs too many times. Anyways, so
yeah,
Dean asks the demon doorman if their father is home.
Mm-hmm. And he's there, and he looks like shit. But we cut to
he's real gross. Lucifer is really gross.
Real gross. And we cut though to Chuck continuing to narrate about the Impala.
Some lovely Impala shots.
Really lovely. And he talks about like the cool thing about it is how over time the Winchester boys family, whatever, really made it that car theirs. From the army man that Sam shoved into the ashtray and got stuck to the Legos in the vents that Dean put in there, that it really just made this vehicle unique to them. And that even when Dean rebuilt Baby from the ground up, he put those things back, which is really sweet and wild.
Okay, what? So it shows the little bastards carving their initials into the car. Fuck those little shits, man. Like, no, that's not cute. Fuck those little assholes. All right, so 2, does that mean like he shoved new Legos in? Like, did he go buy an army man? Did he go like how did he do, like how did you make this happen? Just like,
the Lego seems a little bit ridiculous because really you can't see it, and it was really just like a rattle in there. That's what they said. You know, that's what he says. So I'm like, that's really just annoying. I would have left that out. Like, why would you put that back in there?
like, oh, that's our Lego.
Stupid.
Fuck that. Oh my God. That would be like when you have like in the back, like your back seat, like something that's off and it's just making a little noise.
And you can't tell
what it is because it's like in your back and you're just like, but you hear it all the time. Yeah, no, thank you, sir.
Fuck that noise. But the army man, you can buy an army man and shove it in there, I guess. I don't know.
That's so weird.
It is, but I thought it was sweet too.
Carving the initials,
I thought it was sweet until you pointed out. I thought it was sweet until you pointed out how weird it is. I should say, it's really fucking weird.
Yeah, but he does. Chuck does say this very beautiful line of "It's the blemishes that make her beautiful."
Yeah.
Women, you should like anytime a man tells you that he's trying to fuck you, but it's really nice. It is nice.
So we cut back to Lucifer, who has been dropping the temperature in very distinct pockets in Detroit, and that's how they knew to go there. But he's talking about how it's icy around him because people assume that he's fiery, but he doesn't run hot.
I'm cold, baby. I'm cold. And he ices up the window and he draws this little pitchfork in it. And I think it's kind of adorable. It's a cute little pitchfork.
Instead of it wasn't a Ron Weasley scene.
No.
All right. So, but Lucifer is kind of confused he's acting like he's kind of confused why Sam and Ian are there. So Sam mind kills 2 demons.
Yeah, watch me, Satan. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, big flex. And Lucifer comments that Sam is chock full of Ovaltine.
Yeah, and Sam wants a deal. Want a deal, man.
Yep. So, you can use me as the vessel, but you got to protect Dean and bring John and Mary back, which I'm like, that's a stretch, but okay.
Yeah, they just start
and-
throwing their parents into this, like throughout this
Yeah.
episode too. It's just like, and the parents come back. Like, what the? Okay, like we
You want to like
decided
bring
we
people
want
back
this.
from the dead from a long time ago? Like this is a weird
Okay.
jump now. Not just please don't kill my brother. Now you're like, okay, also these people have been dead for fucking years. Can you bring them back to life, please?
But
Like,
I mean,
I'm not trying to be mean about it.
then,
I'm just
I
saying.
mean, they just like brought Adam back to life. Like, apparently, this is not that hard for them to do. So at this point, I'd probably be like, yeah, just bring them back. But maybe they, maybe they deserve to rest. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be really complicated? Like, how would you get an ID and like credit, and then like, can you get an address? I mean, no passport. You're gonna be fucked for that. It's gonna be very confusing.
I wonder if we will ever ask those questions on Supernatural. Who knows? All right. So Lucifer is cold. Sam is amped up. He wants to use the he wants a deal, but Lucifer is on to their plan.
Yep, he knows about the rings. Fuck.
No, here's on to us, Jeeves.
And then there's a bunch of emotive close-ups through this entire scene. I just have to point this out. We get a lot of like close-up of Dean's face, close-up of Sam's face, close-up of Lucifer's face. And they're all very emotional about this whole thing because it's intense and they want you to know it.
Yes. And Lucy likes the idea of the wrestling match in Sam's head, which I also like the idea of Lucifer and Sam in a wrestling match inside his head, but they are dressed as luchadors. And it's the wrestling match in their mind, in my mind, is much better than probably what it was. But he does say, Lucy says, a fiddle of gold against your soul says I'm better than you. And I was like, they really lost a chance to start playing Charlie Daniels here. I think it would have been really nice in the background.
It would have. It's a wasted opportunity.
I think so.
Yeah, he's like, look, one round, I got you. Lucy knows that he can take out Sam in the mental war in Sam's head once he's taken over as the vessel. Dean's not stoked. Dean's kind of like, the fuck, the plan's falling apart. This is not cool.
We had a plan.
Yeah. So we get a bright light flashing though, and then Dean throws the rings against the wall and starts the incantation.
Well, Sam says yes. I think you missed that. Yes, Sam says yes.
Well, he says he's going to proceed, and that's when Dean gets mad. Yeah. So they're going.
Yes. And so then, he gets
the bright light. We've got Dean opening the portal with the rings.
Yeah, with some doo-wop lyrics. He says, Bivatmon, Tabgaze, Babylon, Lon, which according to the transcript, it like translates to open the mouth of the cave of the wicked, or open the mouth of the cave to the wicked. But I think that's just a made-up thing, because I put those words into Google Translate and they didn't recognize it. So unless it's supposed to be like Enochian, which is possible, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that would make sense, I guess, right?
No.
Everything's when in doubt. So it's real windy inside, and then the wall collapses in on itself, and there's a portal. And Sam has been on the ground. He fell down when the bright light happened, and now he stands up, and he says that he can feel him. And there's a struggle, and then he gets to the precipice of jumping in. And then his whole look on his face, his demeanor changes. And he turns and says to Dean, I was just messing with you. Sammy is long gone.
Oh, no. It's Samifer. He is back. And then he starts speaking in Klingon. And he says, Quarter, Brevert Mart, Tobgus, Babylon, and the wall closes.
Bamalong a ding dong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Dean, and so Samifer grabs the rings after the portal closes, and Dean is just like trying not to cry.
Yeah, he's not happy. And Lucy also takes a chance to brag that he was right, that it would always happen in Detroit. And he poofs. He gone.
And then Dean does cry.
He does. Poor Dean. Sad Dean.
So we've got Samifer in an old building. It looks kind of like a foyer in an old building.
Yeah, and he's surrounded by people underneath this very tacky chandelier. It's just not good.
It's in really poor lighting. Like, I don't know. It looks a little dusty. I don't know.
And all the people are dressed weird and they look kind of like zombie-like. I don't know what's going on here.
It's very bizarre. But we've got Lucifer talking to Sam inside his own head, saying that I can feel you scratching away in there and I could take the gag off. And he can do that by looking in the mirror, kind of, and talking to himself, which is real weird. A kind of an interesting effect, but also real weird and confusing.
Yeah. It's pretty good acting there, Mr. Padalecki. And the mirror scene was also Director Boyum's favorite scene. He said that he cracked the mirror very specifically so that the vantage can move from one part of the mirror to another part. So when you watch like how, throughout the scene and through this one and the next one where they're talking in the mirror, you see like as it shifts in there, like their faces. It's really well done. I really like it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was really well done. And it gave an opportunity to give a voice to Sam because Sam wouldn't have a voice here otherwise. And with this change in the storyline, I think it was critical that Sam had some kind of a voice here. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Not necessary, but very beneficial. How about that?
Yeah. And very shockingly, he's mad.
Yeah, weird. He's mad, and Lucifer wants to insist that he's not a bad guy. Oh, yeah, not shocking.
No.
But
Lucifer does use I guess it's an acronym of probably like a text shortening, MFOE, which means like you're made for each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so he's like just stoked. Lucifer's stoked, 2 parts of the whole, but now he can also read all of Sam's mind, and he's gonna monologue real hard about it.
He does a lot.
Basically saying that Lucifer was his real family all along, and you weren't really running away from your other family that were really just a placeholder. You were running towards Lucifer this whole time, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I really just want you to be happy, Sam. I let Dean live. I can bring your mom and dad back. Sam's like, I don't want anything from you. But Lucifer's like, well, we can get payback. Here are all these people that were working with Yellow Eyes. This is your life. Azazel's gang watching you since you were a rugrat.
Well, and not just watching you, interfering with your life. One of them, like,
so creepy.
Yeah, the girl in there in that terrible dress was his prom date. So his prom date was a demon. So that's really no wonder Sam was so fucked up. Like, yeah, he had people fucking gaslighting him his entire life.
A grade school teacher, a friend, a prom date, like all of these people, and then one that they really don't say much about, but there's some other people there.
Yeah, and I also think it's just very strange, though. I mean, it's not strange, but this seems like very much like a cult leader trying to go after a vulnerable person and bring them in, right? And say, like, I am your family. They're not your family. You were always one of us. And here, like, we can do this thing together. This is, you will get your revenge through this. Like, don't you want that? And that'll bond you to us, like, which are all things like people would be doing, trying to take advantage of the person. But it's clearly not going to work on Sam Winchester. Like, I think it's weird that he thinks that this type of manipulation would work on him. Like, maybe like Sam, I don't know. I don't know if it would ever work on him. It seems a weird approach. If I was trying to bring him to my side, I would approach him differently. Just saying, Lucifer, whatever. You're not manipulating well.
But Liz is taking notes for her future cult.
Damn straight. Cult is way better.
But he's trying to get Sam fired up and on his side by saying, like, look, you've been getting jerked around like a dog on a leash. And so let's blow off some steam and kill all these people or these demons because they've been fucking with you your whole life. And this guy, like Lucifer, I say this guy, Lucifer thinks this guy.
Get a load of this Lucifer. Who the fuck does he think he is?
Well, it's like he's making a big deal about how he reads Sam's mind and he knows what Sam thinks, and then but he obviously doesn't know Sam very well at all. because of how he tries to approach him on this stuff.
Well, I think it's also he may know Sam, but he sees Sam through his perspective, and his perspective is so fucked up that he's not actually getting the point of most of this. Right? He's seeing Sam being angry and frustrated, and Jai's like, "Oh, I can latch on. Those are emotions I get," but not seeing the "I love my Green Army men" part. Right? So.
Right.
Anyways, so we cut to Detroit and all these TVs that are like showing the news. Like, does that still happen? I guess people would just be looking at their phones now instead of being like lined up. But I don't know if that ever really happened. But did you ever crowd around a window looking at news?
I mean, I don't know. We also lived in like this was only 2010, so I mean that seems kind of weird to happen then.
Right?
But like in the past, there was like a time where not everybody had a TV in their home, where there wasn't a way where people were going to tell you when there was breaking news, and so I guess if you walked by and you saw it, that's how you'd watch it. I don't know.
Fair. I'm just saying I never did this. So, anyways,
you cannot personally relate to this experience.
I mean, it seems like a lovely experience to share with people, but anyhow, so
but that's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes and airplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid because it's the end of the world as we know it.
I don't feel fine. I don't. So also it's really disturbing, like watching this like during the week of a whole bunch of really bad like natural disasters. Just like San Francisco's about to get like taken out by a flood, like as we're doing this, and I'm like, oh shit, it's
bad
fine,
timing. Bad timing.
It's fine, everything is fine.
Yeah. So we've got Dean and Castiel and Bobby together now, and Cass points out that it's starting, and Dane's annoyed. He's like, "What else do we do? What else can we do?" And Cass's suggestion is to drink copious amounts of alcohol and wait for the inevitable.
I like your plan, Cass, which is also what I plan to do during the end of days, which it could be now. So let's keep imbibing copious amounts of alcohol. But Dean's just kind of mean to Cass here, and I don't really forget. And then he like gets kind of worse, and he's just like, he really forgets that words hurt, and he calls him a junkless sissy. And it's just, I don't like it. It's not nice.
It's not very nice. Well, they're just trying to fight. He wants to know where the battle's supposed to happen, and it's the chosen field, and no one really knows where it is.
But basically, Cass has given up. Bobby has given up, and it's just really, really sad.
It is. It's a very sad scene. It's like they've all just like, okay, it is what it is now.
But not Dean. Dean is not giving up.
Nope. No.
He is not a junkless sissy.
He is not a junkless sissy. We got... Samifer is now sitting around with a pile of dead bodies because he killed all these creepers that stalked Sam's life. And there's a whole lot of blood. And then there's a weird eye contact in the mirror between Lucifer and Sam.
Yep. That happened. It did. But we get away from this awkwardness back to the story of Baby. And also some of the backstory about Sam and Dean.
Yeah. Oh, we've got them talking about them driving across the country for Aussie shows and Jayhawks games and pool hustling and, watching the stars sitting on the hood of the car for hours. And it just never occurred to them that they were never, in fact, homeless because they had the Impala.
No, they're totally homeless. They don't have a home. They're fucking drifters. Don't go home with them, ladies. They do not have a home.
Living in your car is
hustling pool. Don't no red flags. So many red flags. They are homeless, Chuck.
So we see Chuck has his phone ring and he answers asking if it's Mistress Magda, but it is not. It is Dean.
Oh, him and Becky did not work out. Poor Becky.
I'm very
Rosen.
sad about this information. I was very disappointed for that.
And I think by he's saying that he respected her too much means he couldn't bone her. I don't know. Poor Becky's still not getting any. Oh, poor Becky.
Well, Dean's alone in Baby, and he's telling Chuck that Sam said yes, but Chuck already knows this. He's writing pages on it. But is he writing pages on it? Because he's been writing about the Impala, so I'm very confused about this.
We haven't seen everything that he's written. Maybe he already wrote it. I don't know.
Okay. So, but Dean wants to know where the battle's going to happen. He knows and Chuck tells him it's tomorrow high noon at Stull's Cemetery, which happens to be outside of Lawrence, which is where it all started.
Symmetry!
Ooh. So,
which especially makes sense if you think about this being the end of Crippy's arc, right?
It does,
have that kind of symmetry back to Lawrence. So
makes sense. So Dean wants to know if Chuck is aware of any ways to, short circuit everything that's going on other than the rings or what happens next. But Chuck's like, I don't know yet. So he hangs up as Bobby and Cass show back up. And Bobby's like, yeah, you're going to do something stupid. I can tell because you got that look.
I think I get that look on my face too sometimes.
I was like, that's fair. I like it. But Dean's like, yeah, I'm going to go talk to Sam. If we've already lost, then I've got nothing to lose. So, and Cass is like, this is a terrible idea. You're just going to go watch Michael kill your brother. And he's like, well, he's not going to die alone then.
He sobs that up. I'm dying alone. But he's very emotional. And
very sweet.
It is very sweet. And he gets him baby. He drives off. And we cut to Stull's Cemetery, which is actually a real place and did actually have a reputation for involving Satan and is allegedly a gateway to hell. I don't know why my voice just went like that when I said hell. It is a gateway to hell. Hell. I don't know. My lights just dimmed too. Ooh, maybe I'm summoning.
Don't summon anything right now.
You just want me to wait until after the podcast to complete my
Correct.
summoning? Okay.
Yes.
And so those rumors, though, were popularized in a 1974 issue of the University Daily Kansan when a student claimed that the devil appeared twice a year, once in Halloween and once on the spring equinox. And then suddenly, people started having stories. But the stories were big enough that in 1993, Pope John Paul II had his flight rerouted so that it would go around the cemetery. Which I think is pretty funny.
That's a little concerning.
Right? Like, what does the Pope know? And
I don't know. But
the Pope's like, no, thank you. We're just going to go around the gate of hell, gates to hell. So, since obviously, though, this is a very popular place with trespassers, especially in Halloween, it is patrolled by the sheriff's office. So just a warning, if you do go and you get caught, there is a maximum fine of $1,000 and up to 6 months in jail. So up to you if that is worth trying to open a gate to hell. That's probably not there, but could be. But I kind of like the cemetery anyways. It's very it's not Stull Cemetery really. Like obviously it's a set, but I like it. Like it's just kind of overgrown and it's just like it looks like the tombstones look like they'd be interesting.
Ooh. Well, we've got Sam first standing admiring a crow, and we get McAdam, Michael in the vessel of Adam appearing.
Or Madam, as I called him. But they can't believe it's here and they're both ready. And like, doesn't this seem a little anticlimactic? Like just them.
They kick off with a staring contest. There's no one there to watch this.
Yeah, like why are there angels or demons like watching, being like, this is like the fight of like the eternity, right?
There should be some popcorn. Why is there not cotton candy and beer vendors?
A betting pool, like a chick with like a sign and a bikini, like, something. But no, it's just two dudes standing in a field. What the fuck is this?
It's weird. It's weird. It's a letdown.
Maybe there's like a pay-per-view like people are watching it on, and that's how like maybe they're like in bars like across like just like heaven, just like all like everyone's like watching it.
That's hilarious. They would be so mad by what happens. Be paid for pay-per-view. What? Bullshit. I want my money back. So he's basically Samifer decide after they do the little greeting to each other. Samifer is like, "Hey, do we really have to do this? Like, why do we even do this?" And Madam's like, "Yeah, we have to because of what you did." But he's like, "No, it's not my fault. God made me this way, and made me. He wanted to have a devil, so he made me the devil, and there it is. And he just wants us to fight. What's why? Why do we have to do that? It's a test from him." We can just walk off the chessboard.
And this is very interesting, right? So we have Lucifer really actually saying, hey, we don't have to have an apocalypse. We can stop being pawns of our fucking father and just end this right now. And then Michael is like, no, I'm a good soldier. I'm a good son. And he has this very interesting line that says, you're a monster, Lucifer, and I have to kill you, which is very interesting, being that this is supposed to be, Dean saying this, right? Which you could totally hear those words coming out of Dean's mouth, and something that he would be saying to Sam, like, and probably like if Sam had ever gone super dark side.
Yeah,
I just thought that was a very interesting.
That's a really good parallel. Yeah, for sure. But Lucifer is not stoked on this statement that has been made, and Samifer is like, "Nope, I'd like to see you try." So right then, we hear an engine rev.
Wait, before the engine run, they decide they're going to fight, and they have like a Sharks and Jets moment where they just start like circling each other.
Circling a little bit. Oh, yeah.
And they're just like, we're just going to go in a circle. Oh, no, because this is how fights start. We're just going to walk around each other in a circle.
That's how people who have never been in or seen a lot of fights think fights start.
I would assume that Lucifer and Michael have been in some fights.
No, I mean like the writers. That's what I mean.
But I've also seen drunken boys like bro up this way too.
That's true. Oh, like most of the time though, somebody hits the other person and that's it. Like it's like, oh, we're fighting. Okay, that's what's happening now.
Someone just gives up. All right, so now I'll get to the awesomeness.
Yes, we've got the engine rev, we've got the radio cranked, Rock of Ages by Def Leppard's playing.
On
Dean
cassette.
On cassette.
Dean that he purposely picked out. So he purposely like went through his tape collection and he was like, all right, Rock of Ages.
Yeah. And he pulls into the cemetery and says, howdy boys. Sorry, am I interrupting?
Oh wait, real fast. What has five arms and sucks?
I don't know.
Def Leppard.
There's also
okay. So
my other Def Leppard reference always and it gets stuck in my head now is there's a band called the Bloodhound Gang that
they were terrible. Terrible.
I love them. One of their earlier albums.
Pretty sure they don't hold up. Pretty sure they don't hold up.
There's like a whole like breakdown in one of their early songs, and it just goes over and over again. Just says the drummer from Def Leppard's only got one arm. The drummer from Def Leppard's only got one arm, and just says it over and over again. It's really funny.
By the way, yes, he's also very awesome with one arm. But anyway,
he's an amazing drummer. It's not a notch at all. It's very impressive. It's a good song. Not my band, but it's a good song.
I also just really like the fact that it starts with Gunther Lieben Glauben Globen. I don't know what the fuck that means. I like it.
Yeah. So Dean's like, let's talk. And Lucifer's like, no, you're fucking dumb. What the hell are you doing here? And Dean's like, no, I'm going to talk to Sam. But Madam's like, Dean, you shouldn't even be here. You're not the vessel. So bye. But Dean's like, nah, sorry, Adam. I didn't mean for this to happen to you. And Michael's real shitty. He's like, Adam isn't here right now.
Yeah, Madam's real mean. I don't like it.
And he calls Dean a maggot and tells him he's no longer part of the story.
I'll do whatever the fuck I want, Madam.
Rude, Madam. But then we hear, hey, ass butt. What? It's Castiel and Bobby are there. Oh my gosh. And Castiel has a Molotov cocktail full of holy oil. And he chunks it at Michael McAdam. whatever his name is, Madam, whatever we're calling him.
and Madam just burns away screaming. So Cass made sure that he brought his hipster holy oil with him. And "Hey, ass butt" is clearly one of the show's like greatest lines of all time. And if anybody who has seen the gag reel for this can also like, I highly recommend. You have to search it down if you don't have the DVDs because of copyright shit. So, but it is available on YouTube. You just kind of have to look for it. It's kind of intermixed in things. So, highly recommend going to watch Misha Collins throw a glass bottle at Jake Abel and just have it like bounce off him. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, but Castiel tells Dean though that Michael Adam is going to be back, but you got about 5 minutes to try to talk to Sam. Samifer is pissed at Castiel. He's like, you just dicked with my brother. That's not cool. And his reaction seems a little extreme because he snaps his fingers and Castiel explodes.
He fucking exploded Cass. He exploded him. I don't think there's any other actual word for it. He exploded him.
He exploded him. There's blood splatter on Bobby. There's fucking nothing left. Castiel was exploded. And it is very upsetting and distressing. Because this is all like kind of like standoffy kind of build up. And then it's like, oh shit. All of a sudden.
Yep. Crazy.
Everybody's upset, obviously, except for Samifer because he's a dick. And Dean tries to talk to him again.
Sammy, can you hear me?
And he's like, I try to be nice, but you're just a pain in my ass. So he throws Dean, and Bobby is not happy about this. So Bobby shoots at Samifer. So Samifer turns and flicks his wrist and breaks Bobby's neck, and Bobby dead.
The fuck?
So now we're down to just Dean. We got Sam's possessed by the fucking devil. We've got Castiel has been exploded out of existence into a pile of blood vapor, and Bobby just got his back fixed, and now they broke his neck and killed him, which is weirdly ironic and sad and gross, but whatever.
It's just that. Oh damn it! I'm with what was the thing we did last week? What was the thing that we did last week? The thing where people die but the death is coming after them. What's the fucking movie?
Final Destination.
Final Destination. He's finally getting his final destination.
Yes.
So like he didn't, he got healed and then he died.
No, he's okay. Yeah. There we go.
They can't all be winners, folks. They can't all be winners.
Right.
All right.
Right. We got there. So Lucifer just starts beating the fuck out of Dean. That's really what it is. He's just beating the shit out of him. And he tells Dean that, yeah, Sam's in here and he's going to feel every time I'm going to break all your bones and he's going to feel it all.
Yeah, he's mad. He's really mad. So yeah, it's a very uncomfortable
really
beating
uncomfortable.
Scene. Yeah,
it is, because Dean's not even really fighting back. He's just saying, "It's okay. I'm here. I'm not going to leave you." While he's getting pummeled in the face, and he's looking beat, like his bad.
But then there's a twinkle, a literal twinkle.
A literal twinkle in Samifer's eye. His pupils change, and he sees the little army man in the ashtray. And he pauses, fist in the air, about to pummel Dean in the face again. But he starts flashing through all the memories in Baby with Dean from childhood to present. And it starts slow, and then they go faster and faster and faster and faster. And it ends in a hug, and he unfolds his fist. Sam's in control.
Sam took the wheel. Yeah, I still cry because it's their brotherly love that really brought him through, right?
Mm-hmm. So Sam tells Dean, "It's going to be okay. I've got him," and he pulls the rings out of his pocket. 'Cause remember, Lucifer had shoved those in his pocket after Samifer put them in his pocket earlier. So he has them. So he throws them on the ground and he starts the incantation. And this is where I was like, okay, this is a very different scene because it was on a wall before. Why didn't they just do it on the floor before? I don't know.
Well, maybe he was in an upper level. They were in an upper level. So I don't know.
It's like, I mean, it's a magic portal. I don't know if it matters. But anyway,
yeah.
so we've got
I would
Dean
rather
watching.
walk forward than down. I don't know, but
Jump in. I don't know. So we got Dean watching as this portal opens up and the wind picks up again. But guess who's back? McAdam, aka Madam, and tells Sam, like, nah, it ain't gonna end this way. We've got to fight, and that's it.
It's my destiny. It's my destiny. And but Sam just throws himself backwards. How big, like all 6'5" or however much Padalecki moose there is, just like flailing backwards. Get out of the way! Padalecki's falling.
Trustful. So he goes backwards, but we've got a problem, kind of, because you see, Madam McAdam grab at Sam. Well, Sam like, nah, you're coming with me, brah, and pulls him with him. Oh. So now both Michael / Adam and Lucifer / Sam, all of them have fallen into the portal.
The pit.
And the ground.
They're all going to the pit.
And the pit.
Yeah, and the portal closes, the pit closes, whatever, and the rings are on the ground, and it's just Dean. And
by himself with his face beat to a pulp, and it's very sad.
It's very, very sad. And so you could tell, like, that's a lot of prosthetic makeup, and Ackles was in that for over 6 hours. And like, besides just like the makeup, he also had like cotton in his cheeks to make his cheeks look puffier.
Swollen.
Yeah. Ugh. And then he had like all like the fake like blood shit like in there too. But they said the biggest problem is that like Ackles kept pulling tears during the scene as like he was like emoting and they kept welling up behind the prosthetic because the prosthetic had his eyes closed, so they had to keep opening the prosthetic to drain out his tears.
That's sad and gross.
Yeah. And how uncomfortable. Oh my god. Like, they don't pay, I was about to say they don't pay you enough, but I think they paid you a lot. But yeah, that's a lot of shit to go through. Man, I read that, I was just like, that's I think that was also right when I lost my contact too. So I was like, I totally know what this is like, man. I just lost my contact.
I can relate.
Totally relate.
But then, who's there? It's Castiel.
He's alive.
What?
And he's alive. Angelic.
He is. He's better than he was before. And he boops Dean and makes his face not beat up anymore.
And then they kiss passionately. Oh, wait, that didn't happen.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. No, okay. They look like they want to.
But Dean asks Cass if Cass is God. And he's like, nice compliment, but no. But I think he brought me back, new and improved. And then he goes to Bobby and boops Bobby back to life. Yay!
Bobby is back from the dead. All right, cool. So now we don't have to worry about that one. Phew. Okay.
So, yeah. And Dean's got the rings. We cut back to Chuck's narration. And he's talking about how hard it is to write endings because no matter what, fans are going to bitch and it's just a raging pain in the ass.
I think someone's letting out some feelings.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. So we've got Dean driving with Castiel. And Castiel's like, I'm going to go back to heaven. With Michael in the cage, it's going to be total anarchy. So I'm going to go be a sheriff up there, basically. And Dean kind of talks shit about him being God's bitch again, but he's like, yeah, whatever. Dean's not thrilled about this. But Castiel's like, no, it's God helped us, so I'm going to go do my role. But Dean's like, well, all I got was a brother in a hole and, nothing else that I asked for,
Where's my cheeseburger, goddammit? Why aren't my parents back from the dead? All I get is I'm sitting here alone. Where the fuck is my prize, bitch? But Cass then righteously points out that this is what you asked for. Like, this is it. This is what you, and you knew this is what you're going to get. Kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. And he kind of asked the question too. Castiel asked him, would you rather have peace or freedom? That was an interesting question too. But anyways, so Castiel poofs away to go back to heaven. Poof. Bye. But we've got, Dean and Bobby hugging it out and saying bye. And it says that it's the last time that they'll see each other
Yeah.
for a very
Chuck is still
long
talking
time.
over this. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Chuck is the
So
one
it's
saying,
narration.
yeah.
That sorry, I said it says Chuck
It
narrates.
says, yeah, Chuck is
It says that it's the last time they'll see each other for a very long time. Ooh, what does that mean? But Dean drives away, and apparently this time next week, Bobby's hunting a rougarou outside Dayton.
Rougarou!
But
Dean's not hunting. It's
no,
not.
he's not.
And it cuts to him
driving to Lisa's door.
Because
all he wanted was to die or bring Sam back.
Leave Lisa
he wants
alone.
To die or bring Sam back, but he promised that he wouldn't do either of those things. So he's going to do what he promised he would do and go to Lisa. And she answers the door and asks if he's all right. And he said, if it's not too late, I'll take you up on that beer. And she says, it's never too late.
Yeah, and I was totally crying again at this point. And she hugs him and she tells him everything will be okay, blah, blah, blah. And we cut to well-dressed Chuck.
Yeah, he changed clothes.
He did. He looks a lot better now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's dressed up a little more. A little more professional looking. And he surmises that this was all a test for Sam and Dean. Good and evil, angels, devils, God. And in the end, they made their own choice, and they chose family.
And I was fucking bawling at that point. Angel's family. He always chose family. Ah!
And then he says, endings are hard, but nothing ever really ends. And then Chuck poofs out of his chair.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck did Chuck go?
I don't know. What happened to Chuck?
We get one more scene at Lisa's house. Dean looking pretty zoned out at the dinner table with Lisa and the kid. But the streetlight outside flickers. And we cut outside. And we see a person watching the house.
It's like a creepy fucking stalker.
It's Sam! Or Lucifer! Or Samifer! What the fuck?
I don't know. There's a big old moose outside underneath the streetlight.
Cliffhanger ends.
Cliffhanger. Boom.
Well.
No. All right. So before we unpack all of that, it is time for, as promised, our season 5 trivia wrap up. All right. So here we are for season 5 trivia. All right. You ready for your first question?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Please be more excited.
I'm very excited. I'm just nervous.
Okay. All right. Here's your first question. How many times did Dean die this season?
Oh, shit. I mean, I know once for sure. I'm trying to count backwards, though. I'm going to stick with once. I think it's wrong. It's low.
It was once. He was shot by Walt in episode 16, Dark Side of the Moon. All right. We're going to do the same question, but with Sam. How many times did Sam die this season?
Well, he died in that same episode. And yeah, let's say it once again.
No, Sam died twice. Because in episode 13, the song remains the same. He was stabbed by Anna and then brought back. Those Winchester boys die more than anybody I know. All right. Okay, so now name as many of the major characters who died this season. Go!
Well, we've got obviously Sam, Dean, Castiel, Bobby, Adam.
Okay.
Ellen, Joe, and Anna died, right?
Yep.
And then blanking. I mean, the 3 of the 4 horsemen. No, they didn't all die. I take that back. They didn't die. And
3 of the horse. Well, no, they just had their fingers cut off. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 had their fingers cut off. I think Famine died, but that was it. And then shit. I don't know. That's a lot still, though.
It's still a lot. You got a lot of points. I also would have accepted Gabriel, who was killed by Lucifer in episode 19. Right. Jimmy Novak, who was killed by Raphael alongside Cassiel, but it's kind of a meh. And Nick, because he just died, and then also Zachariah, who was stabbed by Dean in episode 18.
Oh, Zachariah, that would have been a big one. My bad.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Oh no, I lost my numbers on this. Okay, so
4.
whatever. I think it was question number 3. All right.
That was number 3.
Yeah. All right. So, what was the hashtag the SPN family was tweeting before the start of season 5? Was it Lucifer is rising, Lucifer is coming, Destiel forever, or horny for Dean?
Lucifer is coming.
Yes, that is correct. Although I wish it had been horny for Dean. That would have been.
I'm sure that's been popular at some point.
At some point. All right. In episode 6, I believe the children are our future. Which of these did not become an instrument of death or destruction? Itching powder, joy buzzer, whoopee cushion, or glitter bomb?
Whoopee cushion or glitter bomb?
It's both. It's fucking
I was like, wait a minute. I don't remember either of those.
There was technically a whoopee cushion in it. That ended up being a prank.
In the magic shop.
Yes. And it was ended up being a prank on the set. So I just had to throw it in there. So, all right. When Sam's body is taken over by the young stud Gary in episode 12, Swap Meet, what is the drink he orders with Crystal, aka I would like to have the sex with you, hits on him? Was it a mojito, a Shirley Temple, a banana daiquiri, or a White Russian?
Banana daiquiri.
It was indeed. All right. These next 4, you're going to have to answer 4 things, and you're not getting multiple choice. Name the horses for the 4 horsemen. So name their cars.
Okay, so War had the red Mustang. Famine had the Escalade or large SUV, whatever you. Pestilence had the shitty station wagon. That's as much description as I'm giving. And then obviously Death had the 59 Cadillac Sedan DeVille.
Yes. We want to be more specific. Famine drove a black Cadillac. Well, was driven in a black Cadillac Escalade. Trickin'. Pestilence was in a green 72 AMC Hornet wagon. And War was in a 1965 Mustang Fastback, which ironically Kripke originally was going to have the boys drive instead of the Impala. And when he was originally writing the show, he was like, hey, I want to give them a muscle car. And that was his first choice. And then his neighbor told him that it had to be a 67 Impala because you can put a body in the trunk. He says, you want a car that when people stop next to it at the lights, they lock their doors.
Ooh.
And I'm like, damn, I want to be in a car where I pull up and people lock their doors. Oh, sick. That'd be so good. All right. So well done on the cars. I figured you would do well on that one. Okay. Yes. So in Changing Channels, the boys have a theme song. Sing it. No, I'm just kidding. Unless you can. Can you do it?
Nope, I cannot. Woo!
Okay, all right. So you're gonna get.
Like, oh shit! I can't even get the melody. Like my mind just went totally blank when you said that. I'm like,
I'm gonna give you the lyrics and have you fill in the lines. All right. So it's together we'll face the day. You and I won't run away when blank. Together we'll face the day. So is that blank? We'll do it our way. When demons come out to play, you've got to pay to slay, or ain't scared no way.
I want to say it's when demons come out to play, but I don't think that's it. I think it's We'll Do It Our Way.
It is when demons come out to play. When the demons come out to play.
That's right. Shit.
All right. So there's two left. All right. So question number 9. Which of these was a panel at the first Supernatural convention in episode 9, The Real Ghostbusters? Was it Made in Heaven, Dusty L? Demons Inside, The Trouble with Sam? Frightened Little Boy, The Secret Life of Dean? Or Dig Your Way to Thin, Grave Digging for Health?
I think it was Frightened Little Boy about Dean. Wasn't that a real one?
It was that one. I would go to all of my panels, by the way.
I like the grave digging to health. I'm like, oh, I'm surprised someone hasn't made like a digging like thing now, like exercise.
You would just have like one shoulder and like a hunchback.
We have to change arms. You have to change arms.
Oh, I couldn't dig the other way with my non-dominant hand. Oh no,
I know, it's weird.
You remember when I was like doing like a lot of pistol training and stuff, like in order to be like learn how to shoot better with your left hand or your non-dominant. One of the things they always said to do was to try and grab the toilet paper roll with the other hand than what you normally do, and that practice like gives you like practice with dexterity. It's really hard to do. I recommend trying to try and grab the toilet paper with your other hand. It's hard.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. So our final question. And I just had to bring this back to my boy Ash, mullet of my heart. Which of these people did Ash not meet in heaven, according to Dark Side of the Moon? Johnny Cash, Andre the Giant, Einstein, or Keith Moon?
Damn. I don't remember. I want to say it was, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank totally. Let's say Einstein. I don't think that's
No, it was Keith Moon. And I just put that in there because I was fucking with you because you didn't know who the Who was the other day. So now I'm just fucking with you again because you don't know who Keith, Keith Moon is also dead.
I know who Keith Moon is, but still.
So that wraps up our trivia for season 5. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Diana did much better than she usually does. I did pretty good. I think she secretly studied when she said she was drinking. I think she was like, I'm drinking, but she was like looking through back episodes. So I'm proud of her.
Look at me.
Or she cheated off the person next to her. I don't know. I can also do that.
There's no one next to me. It's all me. I did all right.
There's just like a notepad, like it's stuck in the back of Kevin. And he's just like sleeping on the floor, and he just
flipping pages with his foot when he scratches.
So,
all right, so let's unpack this episode a little bit. Whew. So I will tell you, going into this episode, if you were watching this in real time in 2010 and this episode happened, I would be mad if I was watching it because I'd be like, WTF is the series ending? Then I'd have that cliffhanger and then you have to wait months for the new episodes to come out.
I will say that they did know that it was going to be renewed, although I think they did not know that when it was. No, they knew it was going to be renewed when it was being written and when it came out. So that was not an issue for the fans. Although originally, at the beginning of the season, I know that was a question, but I think by the time this happened, they knew it was.
That's good because that would have been very upsetting.
Unlike the Winchesters, which it's still up in the air, guys. They still haven't decided. By the way, I just checked.
That's interesting. Yeah. So I think that's interesting. And then I think it would just be a really tough cliffhanger to sit through. Luckily, I don't have to do that because I'm just streaming that shit. But I think that would be really difficult. I mean, I wanted to know immediately what's going on next. And now Liz is making us take a week off. I'm just kidding. Teasing. We're gonna take our annual break, our break between seasons of the show. But yeah, I think this was a really important emotional episode where we got a lot about Sam and Dean's relationship. There's a huge growth for their relationship, right? Because we kick off the whole episode talking about how Dean's like, look, I gotta let you grow up and I gotta grow up. My job can't be to protect you all the time. If you think this is what you want to do, let's fucking do it. I'll back you. And I think that's huge. And then he comes around and he's like, look, we fucked up, but I'm not gonna let him die alone. So I'm gonna go out there with him. And I just thought it was a really massive emotional growth for their relationship, which is cool.
Well, I also think, really the idea of the boys on this American road trip, which was always Kripke's vision of this, boys on a road trip hunting monsters together. You see that a lot in the flashbacks when we start talking about the Impala.
Oh, for sure.
Really so much in this is about brothers, it's about family, it's about what we've done on the road together.
And together is the key.
Together we'll say... No, sorry.
But yeah, so I think that it was really, really key for that. I don't know. I just thought it was like I thought, yes, we had an important story arc here with them trying to avert the apocalypse. But the other important story arc here was really their relationship and how that's evolved but also always been there, and they're both acknowledging it. I think that was really big.
Yeah, but then they cut it in half and they sent one of them to hell, but he's not in hell. He's outside stalking them by the window. Of Dean just yanking on some woman's chain. What you're doing is fucked up, Dean.
I feel kind of bad for Lisa.
You should feel bad for Lisa. This is not okay. This is a man who keeps popping in and out of her life and just I'm gonna come run to you.
And her child's life.
And her child's life, that's even worse. And now he's all sad and fucked up because it's his brother said, and it's not like you're gonna say no when someone shows up at your door going my brother just died, and you're like,
and I'm real sad, and
I'm sad. Yeah. Of course I'm gonna come in, but it's not fair to her or the kid, and because we know your heart's not in this, you're just doing it because Sam told you. Why aren't you doing what you want to do? And
but Dean had already given that up because he came and said his weird, awkward farewell to her, which was also questionable. And now he's back after saying that farewell.
Fuck you!
Even worse.
Fuck you! I'm sorry, because she'd be texting.
She's already mourned
him. She's texting to her Diana, oh my god, do you know who just showed up at my door? Fucking Dean. Dean Winchester showed up on my door after that weird. Remember that shit he pulled a few months ago, where the people were sucking brains out. Remember that shit when he was there and he just took off? He's back. He just showed up and he was crying and he wouldn't come in and he just left. Fuck that dude. And then that's what her friend's saying. Fuck that dude. And then she's well, Dean showed up again. And she's what the fuck? Why did you let him in? Her best friend is really mad right now.
Furious.
For
sure.
So mad. Sure. How dare you bring this homeless drifter back into your house?
Oh. He lives in his car.
Committing credit card fraud.
Do not let him into your home with your child.
No, Lisa, you can do better. That's it. That is the whole. I think that was the underlining story of all these 5 seasons of Supernatural is that Lisa you could do better.
Now I guess the questions that we're left with as viewers that are not answered, obviously, in this episode is the cage that they got Lucifer, that was Lucifer's cage, can it also hold Michael? I mean, apparently they can go in, but is that going to work? Is that why it didn't work? And why Sam, Lucifer, whoever the fuck it is out now? Or is there something else amiss? Or they decide to work together? I don't know. But I think that was, you don't really know if the cage can hold the two of them. That's 2 angels, not 1.
No, good point.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out. I was just pontificating. But yeah, I think it was a very emotional episode.
Yep.
Very emotional episode.
Yep. And originally Cass wasn't supposed to die. That ended up getting changed. And originally he was just going to be flung, and then they decided to kill him. And I think that makes more sense too, because he can come back and have his super bona fide angel powers again.
It wouldn't have made sense if they had just flung him.
Yeah.
They had to explode him.
Exploded him. Yeah.
It was exploded.
No, it's a very emotional episode. It really brings the I guess the heart of the two of them together, the relationship, and what makes the show. And so, yeah, it's
sure.
I think it's a really good season ender, and I think it's a really good end of the run for Kripke. And I'm excited though for season 6 because you know how quirky Sarah Gamble is, so surely some shenanigans will be afoot.
I like shenanigans.
Yep.
I do. And the way they did the Chuck portion, I'm really interested to see what's up with Chuck.
What's up, Chuck?
What's up, Chuck? And then I'm like, once again, I know we talked about it already, so I won't harp on it, but the way they integrated the story of the Impala into the whole thing was just really well done. It was a cool way to connect the story arc.
It was a good love song to Baby.
It was.
One of her favorite characters, she is.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I got.
All right. Well, with that, I think we will end this. We're going to take a week off. We're not taking a huge break. I'm going to take a week off, and we will see you guys then. Cheers, sir.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.